Okay, so hey guys and welcome back to another predictions video. In today's video I'm going to be predicting the KSI versus Swarmz and Pineda fight. If you are new around here though and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do indeed like the video, and let's get straight into it. So obviously, like, if you remember the TikTok event that I did a few months back, or about a month ago, I just went through every single fight. I didn't actually break down fully the main event because each fight was to an extent entertaining, and that's what I'm going to be doing for this one. I'm not going to be going in depth on each one, and I'm not going to say how each fight is going to end except from the two main event fights. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So starting off with Hyde versus I Am Thompson. The first few like fights, first couple fights, I don't know one of the people in the fights. I Am Thompson, no clue who he is. I mean, I don't really know who Hyde is either. I've seen a slight bit of training footage from him, but other than that, nothing really else. So just from that alone, I'm going to go with a Hyde victory. Moving on to Dean the Great versus Evil Hero. Yes, again, I don't really know Evil Hero. Dean the Great, I've seen his last, I believe his last fight, and that did look quite impressive. And he's quick, and he doesn't seem to have crazy amounts of power, but he is quick, so at least that's something. So I'm going to go with Dean the Great to win. Moving on to Salt Papi versus Andy Warski. Now, I don't know who Andy Warski is. Salt Papi, I saw his last fight. He beat Halal Ham, and he did it relatively convincingly, and I believe this won't be any difference. He's lost a lot more weight for this fight, and he looks like he's very prepared for it, so I'm going to go with a Salt Papi victory. Moving on to King Kenny versus Faze Sensei. This is an interesting one. I've gone with Faze Sensei just on the fact of he's been the experienced fighter for longer. He used to be an MMA fighter. I believe he still is, to an extent, an MMA fighter, and he's been brought up doing MMA. And I don't think somebody like King Kenny, who has lost, but in his last fight, I respect him for taking this fight because nobody else really wanted to, because this is probably one of the tougher YouTuber fights. So yeah, that's why I'm going to say Faze Sensei to win. Moving on to Deji versus Fousey. This is an interesting fight of the fact that they both got losing records. I mean, before KSI got announced that he's fighting twice, this was kind of getting seen as like the main event, which was quite funny. But I think that Deji will win. I know he's coming off to 3 losses and he got the worst record in YouTube boxing, but I still believe this is his time to change it around and get his first victory. I mean, you never know, but I just don't think Fousey's got it in him to get a victory in boxing. I don't think he's overly determined to be able to do it either. I know he's really shredded, but I don't think he's got the mindset to be able to go in there and do that. Moving on to Faze Temper versus Slim. Faze Temper coming off the victory against King Kenny. Relatively impressive, not crazy, but relatively impressive. And Slim coming off a victory against Fousey a few years ago. Sorry about that, I just choked them. But yeah, Slim coming off a victory against Fousey, and I believe he's fought since, but I don't know when. And he was meant to fight on the TikTok event, but yeah, obviously that didn't happen. But I do think Slim will win this one. I think Slim is technically an actual good fighter. I don't really like him too much as a guy, as a person, because he seems a bit annoying. But maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe he'll change my mind if he wins this fight. But yeah, I'm going to go with a Slim victory. Moving on to the two main event card fights now. KSI versus Swarmz is the first one I'm going to be talking about. Obviously, it's a shame that it's not KSI versus Alex Wasabi, but 2 fights in one night is still impressive. Hopefully, no other fights are actually going to be 2 in one night, though, because, I mean, I don't mind it for one, but I'm not a massive fan of it for every fight, or even for more than one fight, really. For one card, I mean. So, KSI versus Swarmz, I'm going to go, and I'm actually going to say how this ends. I'm going to go with a KSI victory in round 2. I think he'll be able to get him out of there relatively easily, and then he'll be ready for this next fight, which is KSI versus Pineda. Pineda is a 3-5 professional boxer from what I believe, and KSI, obviously, he's 2-1, 2-0-1, and coming off the victory via split decision versus Logan Paul. And I believe that KSI will win again via unanimous decision. No, I don't believe he'll be able to get out the professional boxer just like that, but I still think he'll be able to get the victory and for both the fights. And from what it seems, he's going to be the first fight on the card and the last fight on the card, which I mean is fair enough. I mean, it gives him a long time to rest. It would be interesting to see how the adrenaline dump is though, but we'll have to wait and see for that. But yeah, that is my prediction for the KSI versus Swarmz and Pineda fights. If you are new around here though and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like video, and thanks for watching.